Well then, SummerSlam 2021. That was something. It's not like it was a bad show, but it wasn't very good. It took me about this much to get through SummerSlam, but it was what it was. Some moments happened, I guess. The crowd was dead as hell. But let's talk about it. This is the review for SummerSlam 2021. I'm Conman167, and let's dive into the show that had a little bit of everything and a whole lot of nothing. We had the pre-show match between Baron Corbin and Big E. I thought it was an alright match, but the whole goal of this match was to get the briefcase back on Big E after Baron Corbin has been stealing it repeatedly. In the end, we saw Big E hit the big ending in order to pick up the win over Baron Corbin. Good enough match for a pre-show. It actually got me excited for SummerSlam and what's to come. Big E looks great as Mr. Money in the Bank, and so it's only a matter of time before he wins the championship. Question for everyone in the chat. When do you think Big E cashes in? And who do you think Big E cashes in on? But now it's time for the actual main card, and we start things off with AJ Styles, Omos, going 2-on-2 against RK Bro. I mean, this was a solid enough match. There was really nothing fundamentally wrong about it. It was cool seeing the pay-per-view start off with AJ Styles and Randy Orton in the ring together, two of the best performers in the world right now. And it was also cool to see Omos get presented as a really strong, tough individual. And then Riddle just was Riddle. He was great in the match. And in the end, the right team won. We saw Riddle and Randy Orton go over AJ Styles and Omos after Randy Orton hit a vicious RKO. Enough for the 1, 2, 3, and all of a sudden, RK Bro are our Raw Tag Team Champions. But after the highest of highs, we have to sink all the way back down here because it was time for Alexa Bliss versus Eva Marie. And look, I'm not trying to crap on anybody who enjoys the storyline with Alexa Bliss. I was actually into it at the start. I thought when Alexa Bliss was saying, "Lily made me do it," I thought it was a cool direction for her character, but it's kind of veered away from that to the point now where the doll is alive. Well, thankfully during this match, we didn't get any of a weird alive doll. All we got was Eva Marie using the doll to slap Alexa Bliss right in the face. Now, I don't know about you, but that's doll abuse. Obviously, Alexa Bliss did not like this. This enraged Alexa Bliss, and I think that's the story they were trying to go for. But in the end, Bliss hits a DDT on Eva Marie, picks up the win 1, 2, 3, grabs the doll, Lily, and leaves the ring. So that's that. Except for after the match where Doudrop proceeded to say to the crowd, "And your loser is Eva Marie!" So that's something. Next up, we saw Damian Priest get his opportunity at the United States Championship, going one-on-one against Sheamus. Truly a solid match between these two. I saw this coming from a mile away. Priest is excellent in the ring. Sheamus is excellent in the ring. The two in there I knew was going to be physical. I knew it was going to be vicious, and that's exactly what it was. Priest looked really good during this match. I think there's so much with Priest that they have yet to tap into. And Sheamus was just the big bully. He was mean. He was vicious. I like this type of character for Sheamus. So much so that I could see Sheamus going up against Bobby Lashley in the future, fighting for the WWE Championship. But in the end, the right man won. Damian Priest hit the lights in order to pick up the win and his first main roster championship in the process. This is awesome for Damian Priest. And anyone who has watched the channel for a while knows I am incredibly high on him, so of course I'm going to be very happy. This is just awesome for Damian Priest. I can't wait to see what happens with his career moving forward. This is exactly where he needed to be, holding on to a mid-card championship. Look how amazing he was when he held on to the North American title. He is going to be excellent as the United States champion. Up next, we saw the Usos go up against the Mysterios in a 2-on-2 match for the Smackdown Tag Team Championships. This match was good. It wasn't bad. It wasn't incredible either by any stretch of the imagination. It was just kind of there. Unfortunately, I think Dominic Mysterio is a lot greener than we ever thought he was. His first match against Seth Rollins all the way back at Extreme Rules, the horror show, it just that made us feel like he was on a bigger level than he actually was. And unfortunately, not every performer is going to be Seth Rollins and be able to drag him through every single match. He is not great right now, but he's getting better each and every single week. The Usos, on the other hand, are an excellent tag team, one of the best to ever do it in WWE history. And I'm so glad that these guys are getting just a great look at the main event scene. They're getting a great look alongside of Roman Reigns. And they retained the tag team titles during this match. They were great. I also really loved the finish of the match where Rey Mysterio just absorbed so much damage before getting pinned. They protected little Ray as best as they could. It was the right decision, and now I'm looking forward to seeing what may happen with Dominic Mysterio and Rey Mysterio. Remember, Rey was saying how bad he wants to win back these titles. And Dominic, well, maybe he's going to have something to say about Rey getting pinned in the Smackdown Tag Team Championship match. But then comes, oh no. All right, just stop right there, okay? This is negativity time. And I'm not normally somebody who likes to be negative about things, but this sucked. What I am talking about is Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks. Or so what we thought was supposed to be Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks. Now, before you get mad at me in the comments, I understand for whatever reason Sasha Banks was unable to compete in this match. There had been rumors leading up to the match that Sasha and Bianca may not go down, and this didn't go down. And then they proceeded to give us Carmella, who came out to the ring, and it was going to be Carmella versus Bianca Belair for the SmackDown Women's title, a match we have seen a lot of recently. And I was legitimately thinking to myself, anybody would have been better than Carmella. And then a huge moment happened. The man, Becky Lynch, made her return to WWE. She went right down to the ring, stood in between Carmella and Bianca Belair, proceeded to attack Carmella, and then stared into the face of Bianca Belair. Becky Lynch challenged Bianca Belair to a match, to which Bianca Belair stupidly agreed to, and then we got ourselves a one-on-one match for the SmackDown Women's Championship, Bianca versus Becky. Sounds great on paper, right? Yeah, that's until a woman who was built up for the past 6 months in Bianca Belair proceeded to lose to a punch and a manhandle slam. 2 moves. She's pinned 1, 2, 3. What? Straight up. What? What are you doing? What is this? Bianca Belair, the girl, the woman, the big star on SmackDown you've been building up since the Rumble, lost to a manhandle slam? 1 single move? What are you doing? It was at this moment WWE effed up. The fans turned on the show. There was nothing entertaining about seeing Becky Lynch show up and bury a woman who has risen from the bottom of the card to the top of the card and has become the women's champion. There was nothing good or redeeming about this segment. And look, I'm very happy Becky Lynch is back. I'm ecstatic about Becky Lynch returning. But you felt the need to legitimately put the title back on Becky Lynch in 26 seconds at the expense of a woman who you built up for the better part of 8 months. It's this type of booking that doesn't resonate with the fans. I don't understand what the purpose of this was. Oh, yay, Becky's back. Great, all that's... What the frig? At Bianca's expense. So right at this moment, everyone's energy went down the drain. My energy went down the drain. The people who are watching live in attendance checked out. People stopped caring after Becky Lynch pinned one of the most popular women's superstars you have in 26 seconds. 26 seconds. 26 seconds. 26 seconds. And if the goal was to get me to care more about Bianca Belair, to make me root harder for Bianca Belair, then you win, WWE. Because this was not right. I was pissed off and it took me completely out of the show. Becky Lynch is your new women's champion. Whoop-de-friggin-do. So now we have to get through the rest of the pay-per-view with whatever else they're going to give us. It was a tough moment in the pay-per-view. A lot of fans checked out. But anyways, continuing on here, we got ourselves Drew McIntyre versus Jinder Mahal. Very quick match, really nothing to talk about. At the end of the day, this was totally there just to give Drew McIntyre another win after all of his losses as of late. He beats Jinder Mahal fairly cleanly, and then after the match, Shanky and Veer come down to the ring. Jinder Mahal pulls out his sword, threatens to swing the sword at them because apparently Drew wants to commit murder. And then Drew chases them off. So yeah, Drew McIntyre wins. Good for Drew. Now we go on to the women's triple threat match. Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley versus Nikki ASH for the Raw Women's Championship. A good, not great match, but in the end, I think the right decision was made. We had incredible action back and forth. All three superstars were brought up another level. Charlotte Flair just, I don't know how she does it, but every time she's in a big match, she just elevates everyone in the match with her. The corkscrew moonsault that she hit was a thing of beauty. Nikki ASH looked really good with her crossbodies. I like that they continue to keep the crossbody on her, even though her last name's no longer Cross. It's ASH now. Almost a superhero, but I like what they were doing with Nikki Cross during this match. Rhea Ripley, oddly, was the person who faded into the background. I didn't see much from Rhea Ripley in this match. She was just kind of there, but I don't think that's a bad thing because she didn't stand out like a sore thumb. In the end, the obvious choice to win won this match. Charlotte Flair wins back the Women's Championship, taking that title away from Nikki ASH, and all of a sudden the Queen is back on top. So who's next for Charlotte Flair? Give me your comments in the comments below on who do you think she's going to face next. So now we are into our big three main event matches, the matches that Raw and SmackDown have been building up over the last month. It is time, though, to get kick-started with Edge versus Rollins. This was a match that was like 7 years in the making, all the way back from when Seth Rollins threatened to curb stomp Edge onto the Money in the Bank briefcase. Edge wanted revenge. He said he had to find that deep, dark place inside of him in order to beat Seth Rollins again, and it certainly looked like Edge had found that deep, dark place when he came out to the Brood's theme song. One of the best theme songs of all time. He had Fire Titantron everywhere. It looked so good, but then halfway down the ramp, Edge stopped, lights went out, and then all you hear is, "So you think you know me?" Lights are back on, and the rated R superstar that we know and love is there, ready to fight Seth Rollins. After an incredible back and forth match, both men got all their stuff in. We saw that Edge was able to make Seth Rollins tap out to some sort of cross-face chokehold. I don't even know what he calls it, but Edge makes Rollins taps out. And then all of a sudden, Edge has a win over Seth Rollins. That's huge for Edge. I don't know what that means moving forward because it certainly seemed like Seth Rollins was on track to go back towards Roman Reigns and fight for the Universal title. But all of a sudden, Edge gets this win. Are we going to see another chapter of Edge versus Roman? Is there something else that's going to go down? What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments section below. Then we got Bobby Lashley versus Goldberg, which was a big... And I mean, it shouldn't come as a surprise. I am not a Goldberg fan. I have made that perfectly clear over the last 4 years of me doing wrestling YouTube. But man, this match sucked. Goldberg does not look vicious in the ring. He does not look crisp in the ring. He's never been a good worker. He's just a big dude who happened to have a big win streak. And tonight, he was exposed by Bobby Lashley, a man who honestly isn't the man who would be wrestling circles around anyone, but he wrestled circles around Goldberg. It was so bad that Goldberg literally could not continue the match because he got hit in the knee by a cane from MVP. Like, look, I'm all for ref stoppages in matches, okay? I am. As long as it truly makes sense. A shot to the knee, Goldberg's knee is injured, he can't stand, that's the referee calling for a match in wrestling? And I know everyone in the IWC, the internet wrestling community, is pissed because we're gonna get another match. It's gonna be Bobby Lashley versus Goldberg in Saudi Arabia at Crown Jewel. You know it's gonna happen. Somehow Gage Goldberg's gonna get involved in this match, and somehow Gage Goldberg's gonna win with a finger poke of doom as he pokes over his daddy Bill and then pins him 1, 2, 3. WWE dies and goes down the way of WCW. That's what's gonna happen. Okay, I need to take a deep breath. That's not what's gonna happen, but still, seriously, this was bad. Goldberg couldn't continue in the match, and Goldberg is the guy that they built up to be this unstoppable beast. That doesn't add up. At least in the end, Bobby Lashley picked up the win, so I'm a happy con that way. But yeah, via like ref stoppage, it is what it is. I guess maybe it got Bobby over as a little more vicious because he rendered Goldberg useless in the match, but still, I don't know. I'm just looking too deep into it. Was not a fan of how this went. But now on to the main event, and credit where credit is due. This main event between John Cena and Roman Reigns delivered. I thought it was a really solid match, the best match of the night in my honest opinion. But let's talk about it. Roman Reigns dominated Cena during this one. Like, it felt like Brock Lesnar back at SummerSlam when he faced John Cena, where Suplex City was born. Roman Reigns decimated John. Outside of John Cena hitting a super attitude adjustment off the middle rope down into the floor, John Cena didn't have any other offense. He barely got anything in. Roman Reigns dominated him, and it was great to see. It felt like it was a coming of age moment. It felt like it was Roman Reigns breaking through that glass ceiling. It felt like all the doubters had to shut up at the moment because he beat John Cena. Everything went well for Roman, and he stood up at the end of the pay-per-view with the Universal Championship high above his head. That was until Brock Lesnar made his return, and we found out exactly what WWE was going to do to try to counter AEW's CM Punk. Question, with Brock Lesnar coming back, does that make you more interested in WWE? Does that make you less interested in WWE? Or are you kind of the same? Because for me, I think I'm kind of the same, with slightly being excited towards Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. We've seen the match before, but now it certainly seems like Brock Lesnar is going to be playing the good guy, while Roman Reigns is going to be playing the bad guy. Also, the added addition of Paul Heyman being on Roman Reigns' side for all of this is quite intriguing to me, but I'm curious to hear from you guys, so let me know in the comments below. But that's how we end SummerSlam. Honestly, the show was not great, and the reason I'm going to give it this rating of 6.25 out of 10 is because I thought the wrestling on the show was just good enough. I thought there was just enough moments that were unexpected, but I thought the booking of the show was horrendous. No matter what anybody tells me, there was no reason to have Bianca Belair lose the Women's Championship in 26 seconds. That is a booking decision I'm not sure I'm going to get over anytime soon. It was pretty damn similar to Kofi Kingston losing the title to Brock Lesnar. It felt like WWE just giving us a big middle finger. Like, sure, we're excited to see Becky Lynch back, but nobody wanted to see Becky Lynch back at the full expense of Bianca Belair. Nobody. So for that reason, I thought the show was a 6.25. The returns were cool. The moments were good enough. The wrestling was solid enough. But the booking left a lot to be desired. Be sure to let me know your thoughts of the show down in the comments section below. Also making sure you leave a like on this video, making sure you're subscribed, and turning on all your notifications so you never miss a thing. But that's going to do it for me here today. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you missed my actual live reactions to SummerSlam, you should be able to go check out the live stream on this channel. But if you chose to just watch this review, then I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. We'll be back next time for Monday Night Raw. But until then, take care. I've been Khan, and that was SummerSlam 2021.